right, guys. So today we're joining Joe from Vivid Ink, based in Florida. Hi, Joe. How's it
How
going,
you
mate?
doing, Ben? Good?
Yeah, all good, mate. So, could you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I'm Joe from Vivid Urban Inc. and I'm based in South Florida. I've been running a DXon jet for a little over a year now.
Okay.
Yep.
And what made you get into wall printing itself?
Yeah, a little over a year ago, probably in like April, I started seeing Instagrams popping up with wall printing, and I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, that looks pretty interesting. I mean, just probably like everybody else, how I got into it. It's like I think that I never seen that before. I think that could make money, and
yeah,
I was like, this might be a good business opportunity, and then I just started looking into it. And then next thing I know, I just took like a leap of faith, went out and bought the machine and started a business from scratch. Never even had any
yeah.
kind of business experience, anything like that. But it's worked out pretty good for me. Like
And you said you're running is it the DX on Jet?
yes, yeah.
Okay, okay. And how are you finding that particular machine itself?
Tell you, I haven't had any real issues. Minor things pop up here and there, so
Yeah,
software glitches, but I gotta be honest, China's been very receptive. If I contact them, they're pretty much back to me within a couple hours if I need it. Yeah. So
yeah.
if it's during their business hours, it they pick up right away. If it's the middle of the night for them, they get back to me as soon as they're in the morning. So I haven't had any real issues with that. Any parts I needed, they've gotten to me within actually from China within a week sometimes. So
Oh, okay.
it's been a good experience. Yeah, I've actually upgraded the printer twice. I went from the belt system to a gear system, and I just ordered the i32 print 3200 print head. So I'm waiting on that. So
Nice, nice.
yeah,
So all in all, support and everything else, no complaints.
can't complain. No.
Yeah. And what about the process in buying the printer?
My research, I dove into it pretty deep. I went into, they have the wall pen, they have a
Yeah.
couple other Chinese brands. They got a couple based in the United States as well, like the wall printers.
Yeah.
Um, Price wise for me, the DXon Jet was right where I actually wanted to be. If my looking at my return on investment, I thought this was probably the best machine for me at the time, and haven't been disappointed. I made my money back probably within the first 6 months, so I was very happy.
Printer. How did you get on with the process from buying the printer to actually getting started and getting out there and earning
Well,
money?
yeah, like everybody, I just started diving in online, looking at different video. Must have watched 100 videos, YouTube.
Yeah.
Then I actually put a lot of it into ChatGPT and got some feedback on comparisons, and it really laid out, a lot of the tech stuff and the specs and things like
Yeah.
that. And like I said, money wise and price wise, it was beneficial to go with this machine. The wall pen's a great machine I found, but it was very cost prohibitive at the time. I mean, it's an expensive machine. They had monthly fees at the time, so it really wasn't in my wheelhouse at that point. I find too a lot of people don't understand their market either. Like they'll jump in and then realize they don't have a market for this in their area. Like just maybe not a big enough populace or whatever that they could generate enough work to pay for the machine, to make it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, of
So
course, of course.
yeah.
And so you've got your printer now, you've messed around with it. What was your first job and how did you get on?
Actually, my first job, my first job was in my living room. I'm like most wall printers.
Yeah.
The minute I got the machine, I was like super excited. Had it set up relatively quickly in that first couple hours. I jumped ahead. We didn't even wait for the engineers. And when I finally got them on the line, they were like, "You got it together already?" Like wow. They didn't realize how quick I actually picked it up. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I did my house, obviously, a couple prints in the house, and then I was out eating sushi one day in a restaurant. And I'm talking to the owner, and I'm like, "Well, you have all these spaces, I could do something for you." And he was very intrigued, and he uh, he hired me, took some faith in me, and hired me, and I put together some things for his shop, and it turned out great. And then my second job was with the school that I had
Yeah.
worked with at the time. They hired me to do house logos that they have in the schools. So I did a bunch of them in the cafeteria and the front office.
Yeah.
And that's how I just got rolling after that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And there was no hiccups on your first job or anything?
Oh no, of course there was. Yeah, no, I mean everybody's gonna realize this. First of all, I tried printing without the tracks because I thought it was just gonna be easier. Floors straight. I looked at it, everything looked great. The minute I got into it, I didn't even realize I'm looking at this machine wobbling back and forth, and I'm like, "What's going on here?" So
Yeah.
I didn't take into account the levelness of the floor going the lateral way as well. So the machine, and any wobble in this machine leaves streaks through your print. So I must have painted that wall 3 times before I got it right. Yeah. So definitely a lot of learning curves the first go around. Even when ripping the photos for I must have left the dongle out of the computer and it printed with a watermark. So I'm printing and all of a sudden I see this watermark in there. I'm like, what is that? So I went through a lot of growing pains, believe me. I think everybody does in this business. There's no way around it. Now I make sure the track is used 99% of the time. I make sure there's paint from the wall on hand at all times, just in case, because you
Yeah.
never know. I mean, I had a time where the air conditioner kicked on, the central air in the place, and was blowing the ink, so it came out
Oh.
blurry. And I'm like, "What is going on here?"
Oh.
I couldn't realize what it was, and then I realized as I was standing under it, the fan from the air conditioner was blowing down on me, and I'm like, "Wow, okay." So I had to
So
tape the
that's
vents off. Yeah, these are just things you learn as you go.
one thing that I love about your business is you don't just do wall printing, do you? So you
No,
print on all types of.
I do a lot of canvas. I do a lot of glass work. I've been doing a lot of these melanite boards and PVC boards lately for signage because the wall printer obviously has its limitations as far as height wise
Yeah.
and box. So a lot of people, you don't realize how many people have recessed areas where they want like signage or
Hmm.
images. And I found it's a lot easier to print it at my house in a controlled environment. I know what I got. Able to print it, cut it down the size, and bring it in and just install it with the molding. And they're happy as could be. I mean, it's like they got a printing on the wall, fills the entire space, and you never even know it was printed on another material. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, but
right.
you also sell loads of different like artwork, don't you? Is it on the wall
Yeah,
painting as
I
well?
actually started. Well, I figured if you have to pump ink every 2 or 3 days through this machine, I might as well print. So I
That's what. Yeah.
started buying canvases, and I started just printing images that I thought were cool and would sell. And then when I had like 100 of them, I opened up a booth at a green market, and I wound up selling them. And honestly, one of the best things I could do because I got a lot of business through the green market when people didn't even realize what you do. Like I tell them this is just an offshoot of the actual business and explain to them what it does, have the sign set up.
Hmm.
And then they look and I show them the Instagram and they're like, oh wow, I didn't even know this
Yeah.
existed. You have a card. And then next thing you know, I'm printing something in the house. So definitely was a way of advertising and making extra money on the side, especially when you got to put ink through the machine anyway. You might as well get something out of it.
I want to be doing things like wedding backdrops.
Yes,
You know.
there's a lot of opportunities in this business to
Yeah.
create a lot of different things. Yeah. That's something I've been thinking about talking with some wedding planners and things like
Yeah.
that. But right now, like I said, I explained to you earlier, I'm booked out. I don't have enough time on the weekends to do all this stuff. And I'm actually printing when I get home from work on my walls in my house, the
Yeah.
canvases, getting everything out and the signs and things like that. So but it's definitely a lot of opportunity. To make money in different streams with the machine. I mean,
Yeah.
printing even gun safes, and luggage, and it's unlimited. It really is.
So, for advice for anybody that's looking into buying a printer, starting
Well,
up a wall printing
yeah.
business.
I, honestly, I would make sure there's a market for you in your area because like you said, I've had friends that had bought machines, found out there really wasn't a market, couldn't get it to market, and wound up selling their machine prematurely. I think, you're investing a lot of money. Take your time to think about what machine works best for you, where you can get your return on investment the quickest, because ultimately that's what you want to do. You want to get your return on your investment so you could pay that machine off. And then after that, it's pretty much your consumables that you're paying for and
Yeah.
that's a lot less expensive. You can make a lot of money with this printer once it's paid
Hmm.
off. I mean, I found people, and I personally was amazed at how little ink you use when you print. It's not large quantities. You're not going through bottles and bottles of inks on jobs. So I think that's a misnomer also, that you using ink is so expensive that it's going to cost you so much money to do these prints, and really it's not that much. But definitely do research, figure out which machine's best for you, and then just try to sell. I mean, everybody says this, but try to sell it before you actually invest in it,
Yeah.
because this way that will prove your concept, your that you can get it to market, and that is people that would be willing to pay for this service, and try to make those contacts and stuff before you actually get into it. And then once you see that you could sell, you get a lot more confidence. You know that once the machine lands, you're going to put some money back in your bank account right away, which is very big. It's a
Yeah.
psychologically, it's very empowering knowing that there's money going right back into your account
Yeah.
after you shipped it all out. So, yeah.
100%. That's great advice. Jesus.
Yeah. And also, you got to take into the hidden costs too. A lot of people just see the machine costs. Then you have the cost of shipping, especially if you're shipping from China or overseas. I mean, just a difference between air freight and sea freight is tremendous. I mean,
Hmm.
I think it cost me literally, I think $3,000 to have this machine shipped through air.
Yeah.
Just not to wait a month and a half to get it. So, there is an added cost to that you got to take into account. Insurance. A lot of people don't want to hire people that don't have insurance. You have to have insurance. There's a lot of business nuances that I wasn't aware of that I picked up as I was going. People were asking, "Oh, what about your W-9 form?" Like this,
Hmm.
it's a tax
Yeah.
form in the United States that we use. And I was like, "Oh, all right. I didn't know. I realized." So these are a lot of things that if you weren't in business before and you're first starting out, that you really got to take into account. Laptops, iPads, just material to sell, like marketing material. There is a lot of other costs other than the machine. I
Yeah.
mean, you're looking at a big investment, so this is something that you want to make sure is going to work.
Always double check what you're doing. The access to the type of tools we have these days.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was another thing. I had no experience with Photoshop.
Hmm.
And honestly, it's very important to understand Photoshop in this business, because you have to size your graphics, upscale them. They got to be ripped through Photoshop into made files. That was something I must have watched 100 YouTube videos on, was
Yeah.
Photoshop before the printer came, just to get into a flow of how to manipulate things. And AI has come so far to help you with that as well. So that is another learning curve that you need to pick up on if you're not good at that. So there is a technical aspect to this business as well that you need to really concentrate on before your printer gets there, because you don't want to have this thing sitting there and then not be able to manipulate the art to get it into the machine, and
Yeah.
put it on
Yeah.
the wall. So yeah, and the graphic artists that you're hiring don't deal with the printer part of it. They'll get you the graphic, but then you still have to get it sized and print and
Awesome.
ripped into the file, So there is a lot more than this, than just the printer. Like plug it in and print. That's what a lot of people think.
People buy them, think that it's just plug and play, and then they sit on it, and then it's left there in a
Yeah.
garage covered in dust, and then it's
Yeah.
nobody wants it then because it's been left there for God knows how long. Don't let that scare you away. Like if you are
No.
starting out, don't be scared to start. It just there is a bit of a learning curve, but like Joe's just saying, he's just being honest with you, and that's the best way to be.
Yeah, I encourage everybody, if this is something that you've been thinking about for a while, you know what? Go for it,
Hmm.
because I've done it. Ben, I'm sure you've done it. I'm sure 90% of the people out there see this as an opportunity to make money. And I think we're in the infant stage, just crawling out right now. And I think we're in like getting to the toddler stage, and eventually in the next year or two, I believe this honestly is going to surpass vinyl in the end.
Yeah.
I think direct to wall printing is the wave of the future. It's environmentally better. It's easier. It's faster. It's quicker. I really do believe this is only the tip of the spear on this business. I have a feeling it's going to really take off in the next couple of years.
100%. I couldn't agree with you anymore. I think we are at the earliest stage at the
Yes,
moment.
it is definitely not saturated. There's a lot of room. Even, I mean, people worry, oh my God, what if somebody, you talk about it too much, somebody will open up another
Yeah.
wall printing business in my area. But think about how many walls there are out there. Trust me, there is plenty of work to share. And even like with bigger jobs, you could actually uh, co, you know, collab with another printer and have them come in and split the work. You know, if you,
But don't be scared. I was the same when I first started. It was all hush hush. I didn't want anybody
yeah,
to know. And this is again something we spoke about was you could own a printer and your next door neighbor could own a printer.
you could both coexist. Believe me,
Well, Joe, I think we'll leave it there for this chat. I'm sure we'll have another video call very soon
Yeah,
in
I'd
the
love it.
future.
It's
Um,
actually great talking with other operators. You learn a lot, you
you do,
experience a
yeah,
lot more. Yeah, definitely.
you
So,
really do.
and
And
it's a
I
tight community. I've noticed there's a lot of. You're part of the Discord group also with the wall printers and
yeah,
all that. So
agreed. Yeah,
there is a lot of feedback and a lot of give and take. And I'm sure you have been contacted by potential buyers of, hey, what do you think about this business? Because I've gotten a lot of emails and cold calls. Hey, I'm thinking about buying a printer. You have any
yeah,
advice? I'm thinking about this. And, in the beginning, I appreciate that a lot because in the beginning, I tried reaching out to some people and didn't get any responses and felt like a little dejected about it. So
exactly.
whenever somebody reaches out to me, I always try to respond and give them at least a little something or even a phone call. Yes, this
Hmm.
is my experience, and just to help out because I know how tough it was in the beginning. So, you know, and these
Exactly. Yeah.
podcasts are great because it actually gets it out there more. So yeah,
No,
definitely helpful.
100%, a hundred
Yeah.
percent, and it's like my last video I mentioned, Mark and Mark. They're great
Yeah.
guys.
Yes. Yep.
If you've never, if
Spoke
you've
with them as well. Yeah.
yeah, and if
Yeah.
you've never been on their seen their YouTube channel,
Yeah.
jump on their YouTube channel. It's the Wall Printing Academy.
Yeah.
For anybody watching this, but yeah, they're great. They've helped me out on a few things. They've also
I'm an
got
alum.
a
I signed up.
yeah, yeah. Did
Yeah,
you sign up for the was
yeah, I
it
did their
the
course,
course? Yeah,
their entry course. Yeah, it
yeah,
was helpful,
yeah.
definitely.
It was.
So
Yeah. Anybody that's interested, take a look at that. So that's the Wall Printing Academy. They've got a course on there on getting started with wall printing. It's very handy. And again, they're great guys. They've helped me with a lot. And again, if don't be scared to start. Just like Joe says, if you're interested in getting started, just do it.
yeah,
But don't dwell on it. Don't sit on the printer.
yeah,
Just go out there.
yeah,
Don't let people stop you. Whether you're using AI, just use it properly. It doesn't matter what
yeah,
machine you own. Just smash it.
yes, yep, exactly.
You
Crush it.
know,
Go out there, get your money back, and start making a good living on this.
that's
Because
it.
it's going to take off. It definitely is. I
It
really
really is.
firm believer in that. So,
It really is. Well, I'm going to speak to you after this video, Joe, if you've got
all
5
right,
minutes. I just
yes,
want to
sir.
pick your brain. But again, thank you very much for joining us. And
I had a great chat. I look forward
like
to
I
the next
said,
one.
we'll be doing another video
Yeah,
in the future. All right.
absolutely.
Cheers.